Thank you very much, Peter. I don't think I'm going to talking to you about Diddleham. I'm sure you'll be relieved to know. But when I come to answer questions, if anybody wanted to pick up on that, then I will duly respond. Can I say, first of all, thank you for that warm welcome and introduction, Peter. It is a great privilege to be here today, and I'm very grateful for the invitation. But it's also a great privilege for me to follow Sir Stuart Etherington. I thought Stuart gave a very powerful speech, and listening to the Q&A just now that has followed, it's been very helpful for me because I am new in my job. This is, as Peter has already said, my first substantial speech. And I don't come here this morning pretending to have all the answers. I want to learn from you about the charity and voluntary sector. But what I am very clear on is what motivated me to take on the role and what I want to achieve in this job. And what I'd like to do today is to use this opportunity to set that out. So what drives me, first and foremost, is the importance and immense potential of people's charitable endeavour for our society. Charity has a meaning and a value that is immeasurable and lies beyond the sum of what individual charities achieve for their beneficiaries. It's a value that endures well beyond the reach of any organisational structure. At its heart, charity is about attitudes, behaviours and qualities that unite us and that we can all sign up to. Qualities such as purpose, conviction, selflessness, generosity. Qualities that we admire when we see them in strangers and that make us feel proud. So much so, we look for ways to associate ourselves with people who display them. They are our fellow Brits, our family, our friends and neighbours, whatever their race or religion. And they are qualities that make our communities stronger and better. This potential of charity to build meaning and to contribute to a healthy, successful society is profound. So it must be nurtured and promoted. And many of you do that every day, as do the thousands of people who work alongside you in your respective organisations. And I want to take this opportunity, my first public outing as Chair of the Charity Commission, to thank you for everything that you do. But we have a problem. Some organisations that act as the vehicles of that charitable endeavour, namely charities on the Commission's register, are no longer trusted automatically by the public to foster what it is I've just described. And that means all charities can no longer expect the public to give them the benefit of the doubt. That's not just my opinion. It's the conclusion of extensive independent research, the latest of which is underway right now and will be published later this year. And I have seen some of the early findings of the latest round of research, and they are sobering. They show that people now trust charities no more than they trust the average stranger they meet on the street. And it is vital, in my view, that we understand why that is the case and work together to change what's gone wrong, so together we can put it right. Now, Sir Stuart suggested earlier that increased public scrutiny of charities is part of a wider trend. It's the new normal, he said. And I agree with him. We need to examine the problem through the same lens that we use to understand the decline in trust in big business and politics. People clearly are less trusting of institutions and of those in positions of authority than they once were. But that's not because our parents and grandparents were more naive. It's because people now have more evidence to prove their suspicions. They are more sceptical of those in powerful roles or in positions that were once associated with respect because they can see or have experienced directly how those groups really have let them down. The failings may manifest themselves in different ways, and in the worst cases, we've seen some horrifically abuse and some people show horrific abuse and show contempt for the respective position that they hold. But whatever the failing, it adds up to people seeing and believing that those in charge of important institutions are running them in their own interests for their own benefit. What they see is that those organisations have lost sight of their purpose which goes beyond making money or gaining power. What we can't escape, therefore, is that the underlying causes of public distrust are the same in the public, private, and our own sector. Just as some big businesses have failed the reasonable expectations of the public, so have some charities. And what we need to understand is that the expectations of you are even higher because you are charities. In this modern world of swift communication and greater democracy, people have been provided enough proof to realise they can't even rely on those they thought always do better because they exist for no other reason than to do good. Now, I'm not holding charities responsible for failings in other sectors, but nor are they innocent bystanders. The revelations about Oxfam in Haiti and senior staff conduct in other big charities shows that this sector is part of that wider story. And it's a story that matters more for charities than it does for organisations that measure success by size or by the bottom line. For example, the brand of a big supermarket will be damaged when the public see its leaders fail, but people will still buy their groceries, at least until something better comes along. The supermarket's fundamental purpose is not fatally undermined whilst it still makes a profit. But all a charity has is its purpose. So when a charity's purpose is undermined, whether through misconduct or other failures, your very reason for existence comes into question. That's why people are so appalled when charity workers in a devastated country exploit the vulnerable they were sent to help. That's why people feel betrayed when charities seem to respond to misconduct among senior staff by protecting the charity's reputation, rather than by rooting out and stopping that bad practice. And that's what leads people to question very high pay in charities and doubt whether money that's raised and donated makes it to the end cause. It's therefore no surprise that the research that I've already mentioned also tells us that people want more transparency from charities. But again, we need to understand why they are asking for this. After all, most of us lead busy lives. Few of us are prepared to spend our free time working out which energy tariff is most cost-effective for us. Never mind want to spend time looking at detailed financial information about charities. So why do people really want more transparency from charities? In my view, their demand for information is a proxy for something far more profound. They want proof that you are who you say you are. The phrase Sir Stuart has used is living your values. It's a useful form of words because it is evocative, but I want to add to it. What I propose we're talking about here are standards. Standards of conduct and behaviour and standards of competence. I really welcome the NCVO's decision to ask Dame Mary Marsh to develop a code of conduct for safeguarding in charities. But we must keep in mind that Dame Mary's important work will be a means to an end and not an end in itself. People want us to show, not tell. The public want to be able to trust that no matter how you slice a charity, what you'll find is a relentless focus on its charitable purpose. And that means demonstrating that the way charities prioritise, behave and conduct themselves is focused solely on delivering the right results for the people they say they support. I had the pleasure a few weeks ago of visiting a charity in Nottingham, my hometown. The charity is called Think Forward, and it works in deprived areas, helping young people make the difficult transition from education to employment. It focuses on those young people most at risk of dropping out. I met Sally, an impressive, driven young woman who is a beneficiary of Think Forward. And she told me, in terms, that one of the reasons the charity has made such a difference to her perspective and outlook, is that she believes those running it are genuine and that they really care about helping people like her. In other words, for her, they are walking their talk. Sally was an inspiration for lots of reasons, and listening to her brought home to me the immense responsibilities that charities have. But imagine what might happen in the heart and mind of a young person like Sally if she had a bad experience with a charity claiming to help her, if she had reason to believe those running it were in one sense or another exploiting her. That charity would not just have failed to make an impact for Sally. It wouldn't just be a case of one less point on the impact measurement scale. It would have done active harm. That's why it matters so much that charities are relentlessly focused on their mission for the public benefit and on achieving that mission while working to the highest standards of conduct and decency. Now, I've spent a long time setting out the problem of falling public trust in charities, so let me give you my early thoughts on what we need to do about it. And this is where the Commission as regulator comes in. We're currently reviewing our strategy. Our strategic plan ends this year. But the fundamental aim of the Commission is already clear to me. And it's to help increase, I might say rebuild, trust in charities as vehicles for charitable endeavour. And the way we will do that is by understanding and articulating the public interest in charity. Understanding and expressing more clearly why charities matter to people. This is about more than careful and faithful application of charity law. It's about setting the bar that we believe charities can be expected to reach based on what we know about the factors that drive public trust. Because the Commission's job is not to represent charities to the public, but to represent the public interest to you, to help you understand what the public expect and to help you respond. Not to undermine the independence of individual charities, but to help the sector respond to the reasons the public cherish what it is you do, and to hold the sector as a whole and its leadership to account against that bar. I am clear this is the single most useful and supportive thing we as the regulator can do for charities and the sector. We also have our own challenges at the Commission. First, we are under intense resource pressure. We have seen significant increases in volumes of casework, including most recently around safeguarding concerns. And like other public bodies, we have seen our funding cut drastically by 50% in real terms over the last 8 years. I am grateful to my predecessor, William Shawcross, for all of his work for the organisation. During his time as chair, William led a transformation of the Commission. And as a result, the Commission has become more proactive, more robust, more effective at holding charities to account on behalf of the public. And most recently, William was successful in securing additional short-term funding for the organisation, which will go some way to helping us manage the increased workload. But we need to do more. In the context of rebuilding public trust, we must be able to do two things. The first is to step in and investigate where there are serious concerns about charity. It won't have escaped you that we recently placed several well-known charities under formal inquiry, Oxfam, RNIB, and the Save the Children Fund. I am absolutely confident that investigating these charities is merited on the basis of the evidence the Commission holds. In each case, we have different but very serious concerns that we must examine within the confines of a formal investigation. But as the regulator that promotes the public interest in charities, we have to do more than just investigate when things go wrong. The second thing we need to do is to help make sure charities get it right before things go wrong, and make sure they are better equipped to respond in a way that promotes public trust when, sadly, human or system failings do occur. And so the very same principle I set out earlier for charities applies to the Commission. We too must be crystal clear about our purpose and aims, and we must be able to demonstrate that everything we do, from registering charities to providing guidance to investigating and how we conduct ourselves is in single-minded pursuit of our purpose, to help rebuild public trust in charities so that they continue to inspire charitable endeavour for the benefit of our society. The Commission's strategy review continues, and we plan to publish our new strategic plan in the summer. And between now and then, I intend to do a lot of listening, first to the public whose interests we exist to represent, but I also will listen to you, to charities, because I believe we can and must work together to ensure that the public, whom we all serve, has well-founded confidence in charities. I know this has been a serious speech, but I am not in any way feeling downbeat. Indeed, I am really optimistic, because whilst we do have a problem, I am confident that we also have the solution. I am confident in charities' ability to rebuild public trust in their organisations if they set their minds to it. And I believe that you have the potential to begin reversing the trend of declining public trust and lack of social cohesion we now see in our society. You have the potential to lead this change because you don't have to worry about the sometimes conflicting demands of shareholders. All you've got to do is concentrate on your purpose. As I said at the start, I believe charity, what you in this room here and the other 167,000 charities on our register exist to do, is at the very heart of our society. Collectively, you have crucial importance and amazing potential to help people achieve real impact from charitable endeavour. And that's why I joined the Commission. That's why I'm looking forward to working with you in the months and years ahead. Not as an adversary, not as a cosy friend, but as your partner in a shared, vital mission to rebuild public trust in what charity does and has the real potential to help our society achieve. Thank you very much.